What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's daily rap video after his scientific experiment with Street Fighter 6. That's right, folks. Our boy Phil decided to do a scientific experiment, which, I'm using air quote science, to determine if his hypothesis that most players, most good master rank players are playing on PC and that they have a distinct advantage. That's right, folks. And Phil has learned a new word. That's right. And of course, like always, Phil's always using it inappropriately or incorrectly. So let's take a look at Phil's daily rap video. And then I actually have some numbers from last night's Street Fighters. I actually was bored and decided to chart it out. And I have some information that, again, will disprove Phil's points on PC players. So let's get into it.
In fact, after tonight's Street Fighter stream, I've got a lot to say. Now, I'll more fully go over this when I come back on Friday because tomorrow is my day off. But we did a little experiment tonight with Street Fighter, and I have empirical proof of what I've been saying all along. I'm very pleased that we did it this way. Let's talk. First of all, tonight.
Well, first of all, Phil, you started off wrong. You don't have empirical proof, Phil. What you have is you have anecdotal proof, and I wouldn't even say it's proof. You have anecdotal information, and the problem with anecdotal information is that it inherently has biases, and you of course have a clear bias when it comes to trying to disprove the fact that you're a garbage Street Fighter player, right? You already go in with biases, making the assumption that it's not that you're bad or you're not good enough to compete, it's that someone inherently has an advantage against you. And mainly in this specific scenario, we're talking about PC players versus console players. So right there, Phil, strike one.
Street Fighter 6 stream was likely the most interesting one I've done in ages, and here's why. When I played Street Fighter 6 on Monday night, this last Monday, it was my first ever master only stream. And as I was playing it, I distinctly noticed that as I was playing, the game was dropping my inputs, making it so that the timing of my combos, that was basic combos, would not come out properly online, and was essentially making me lose a lot of matches. And I surmised in my head that the reasoning that this is probably happening is because I would guess that the vast majority of people who are at master level are playing on PC. It has been discovered, not really discovered, but it's kind of been a known thing in the FGC that if you're going to be a pro player at this point, you need to have a gaming PC because you have less input lag and less dropped inputs and less delay when you play these games online. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true.
It is ridiculous, Phil. It's completely ridiculous. You're making assumptions. You don't have any data, or you don't have any proof, or you don't have any controlled testing to prove this. Matter of fact, Digital Foundry, when Street Fighter first came out, they actually compared it to see how it performed on every platform. And besides PlayStation 4, the Xbox Series X, S, and PC, and PlayStation 5, it performed pretty much identical. There was no benefit to playing it on PC versus PlayStation 5 versus Xbox. PC had a slight minor, like hundredth, thousandth of a millisecond slightly faster, but nothing that can be caught by the human eye, and this, Phil, is empirical evidence and proof. Digital Foundry actually has equipment, they have controlled testing, and they have proof that they can show you, hey, look, Phil, and they didn't have any inherent bias like you do, Phil. So that is empirical evidence. What you're doing, Phil, is you're using anecdotal evidence, which is really not evidence. And again, what's bad about that is that you have your biases that you're putting into this, and it doesn't make it you can't build your house on that logic, Phil. You just simply can't. It doesn't work.
Initially, when they analyzed Street Fighter 6 when it came out, it looked like all platforms were equal. But you're going to notice something when you watch my gameplay both from Monday night and tonight is the telling thing, so I'll explain in a moment. You're going to notice the vast majority of people playing in Master Tier are playing on PC. Why would you think that is? Coincidence? It just so happens that everyone has a PC version? No. Someone actually on my stream tonight pulled up sales statistics, and here's what they found. 57% of people own this game, Street Fighter 6, on PS5. 23%, excuse me, own it on PC. Only about 17% or 13% own it on Xbox, and then like 7 or something percent own it on PS4. Okay? So Xbox is almost non-existent. PS4, you'll never probably play anyone on PS4, quite frankly. It's always going to be someone on PS5 or PC the vast majority of the time. Almost no one bought it on the other platforms, okay? So if that's the case, if over 50% of the people who bought this game own it on PlayStation 5, it stands to reason that when I'm playing this game at the master level, if it's fair and if it makes sense, then I should be playing more than half my matches against people on PS5. We did the numbers tonight. Are you ready for this? So I think it was a total of 27 matches. And when I say matches, I mean, let me rephrase that. 27 sets. 27 sets against 27 different players. Okay? Out of those players, 4 were on PlayStation 5. 2 were on Xbox. 21 players at the master level were on PC. And before you say, well, how do you know? When you're on PlayStation and you're playing PlayStation, it says it right on the screen. I only fought 4 PlayStation players tonight, despite the fact that more than half the people who own the game own it on PlayStation. Only 4 people at master level were on PlayStation. Now you might say, well, how did you know about the 2 Xbox? Someone was actually looking up the accounts of the people I was playing and researched them and found 2 Xbox players. So we could be off by 1 or 2, but essentially they found the accounts. Those are Xbox Live accounts. Those are Xbox Live players. So yeah, 2 people on Xbox, 4 on PlayStation 5, 21 players on PC. You do the math. You do the percentages. That's an insane amount of players at master level are playing on PC only. Why? Because there's an unfair advantage.
Okay, Phil. Where do I even start with this? You can't make that statement, Phil. You don't have the proper information to make that statement. You're making assumptions, Phil. You're making assumptions and you're treating them like facts. Let's do this real quick. Okay, so when you play Street Fighter, when you're doing crossplay, it'll show crossplay. And you don't know whether the person's on PC or whether they're on Xbox, right? So we've established that. So Phil's making the assumption that everyone he played against was on PlayStation. Everyone he played against crossplayer was PC, which is wrong. Okay. When it comes to PlayStation, you're playing, right? It just shows the Sony icon, right? Right? Phil is making the assumption that he's playing against people on the PS5 version of the game, which you can't. You don't know that. It just shows Sony. They can be on PS4 and PS5. Based on your logic, Phil, the 7 or so matches that you had with PlayStation players, most of them could have been on PlayStation 4. Why? Because there are more PlayStation 4 systems out there than PlayStation 5 systems. More people own the PS4 than the PS5. So using your logic, Phil, you have a distinct advantage against them because you're playing on better hardware, right, Phil? Now, let's also take a look at the fact that you play with a pro-style player joystick that you paid $350 for. Most people don't afford that. Most people, if they do have a fighting stick, it's a Hori or something a lot cheaper. You have a distinct advantage because you have a pro-style player joystick, right, Phil? But you don't mention that. You don't talk about that, right? So when you're going up against joystick versus, controller versus fight stick, you have a distinct advantage there, right, Phil? Right? So you see where I'm going with this, Phil? How we can continuously do this, and you can point out little anecdotal information here, and how I can disprove it clearly. So let's just take at the numbers real quick. So here, I tracked Phil yesterday. So I tracked all his matches, right? He ended up playing a total of 54 matches. This is best out of 3, right? Of the 54 matches, cross-play were 26 matches. So he ended up playing 26 matches. He played a total of 47 matches. 47 matches, right? Of those 47 matches on cross-play, he lost 21. He won 26. So he went 26 for 21. Using Phil's logic, right, that PC players have a distinct advantage, that would have been way different. Phil would have lost way more than he won, and he did it. He essentially was average. He went 26 wins, 21 losses. Phil was an average player. I have more proof that your synopsis or hypothesis is wrong just based on these numbers. If what you're saying is accurate, that PC players have a distinct advantage, then the conclusion is that you would have lost more than you won, and you didn't. You actually won slightly more than you lost. You're an average player, Phil. So I think that is a better hypothesis, right? And that I have more statistical proof than you do, Phil, regarding you claiming that PC has an inherent an inherent advantage because it's PC. Another thing, Phil, is you're making the assumption that every single player you're playing against on PC has a huge, powerful rig. That is not the case. PC gaming is not monolithic. For the most point, most people have mid-tier PCs. They rock probably a 1060, an RTX 1060 or 2080, which are good cards, but it's nowhere near like my card. I have an RTX 3090. I have a top-of-the-line PC with 128 gigs of memory. I have a Threadripper CPU. My PC is just top of the line. But that's not everyone, Phil. So again, you're making yet another assumption that every PC player you're going up against has the same hardware, has the same technology. You're making the assumption that everyone's fighting with a fighting stick, which is not. When I play game, I use a controller. I don't like fight sticks. Right? But of course, you're not talking about that. You're not mentioning that. You're just see, Phil, this is why you're using empirical inappropriately. What you're using is anecdote. What you're doing is you're using anecdotal information. You're making, what you have is anecdotal proof, I guess, if you want to say it, not empirical. If you want to do empirical, you have to sit down and you have to do a controlled test. That's empirical, Phil. Okay, so stop using empirical. You're using it inappropriately. All right, let's watch a little bit more of this nonsense.
There's no other explanation. Why, if over half the people who own this game own it on PS5, would so few people be playing it at master level on PS5? Because all the PC players have an unfair advantage, and they got to master, and they're just abundantly playing at that level because it's unfair. And that sucks. Now I'm not saying they're cheating. What I mean is, for example, they're not using macros, they're not having it do moves for them, but essentially they probably have way less input delay, they probably have way less dropped inputs, and their connections just in general are better. While I'm playing, and like I said, I played on Monday night, my moves were dropping constantly, right in the middle of a 3-hit combo. Roundhouse, Fierce, Coward Crouch, Fierce. Second Fierce doesn't come out. First Fierce won't come out. What the fuck are you talking about? It's boom, boom, boom. It's the easiest combo in the game. I've done it thousands of fucking times since I played the game in June. How the fuck are you going to tell me I don't know how to do a 3-hit combo yet? The game is actually unfair online. If you're playing anyone who's PC and you're not on PC, they have an advantage over you. They don't have the same issues with dropped inputs. They're getting better input delay. They can react. How is it that I'm instantly, when I do my drive impact, they get drive impact and counter hit me? But when they do it, as soon as I press, nothing happens half the time. Just, where is it? Where is my drive impact? It never comes out. It's not fair. It's bullshit. And I really feel it's a problem. I knew all about this earlier this year when I was talking with other people in the FGC, and they were telling me about, did you know that there's actually operating systems that are being created on PC that are being tweaked to run fighting games better for less input delay and less dropped inputs with rollback netcode? Street Fighter 6 is one of the prominent games that this is being featured in. So, yeah, it's pretty sad that the vast majority of players who got to master got there only because they're playing on PC. Now, that's definitely a generalization. That's me being salty. They didn't get there only because they're on PC, but they had an advantage, right? Every single time I'm playing these people, I have to work twice as hard. I have to have insanely perfect timing. I have to try so hard. There were matches tonight. Again, oh, by the way, of the PC players I played, I won 12 and lost 11. I think that's what people said. It was 12 and 11, something like that, okay? If that's the case, if you look at the matches, you'll distinctly see I have matches won and my inputs don't come out. I'm in the corner and I'm doing a combo and the combo just drops for no reason, and then because the move came out that was the wrong move, they get a full punish combo, game over. Or I'm just standing there. They do a drive rush across the entire screen, low kick, and I block low. Game doesn't block. Game over. 70% combo. And it's like, I didn't do it. Sorry. I will not take credit for a loss when I'm not losing. If you outplayed me, if you fooled me, if you tricked me, if I made a horrible mistake, like I'm spamming drive impact, I miss an anti-air, I do the wrong move, that's one thing. But I'm not going to say, oh yeah, these people massively outplayed me, when literally it's because the execution doesn't come out because the fucking netcode is worse on PS5. Or the input delay or whatever it may be. That's bullshit. It's not fair. So you might say, well, are you going to just give up? No, I'm not. But...
Okay, I don't think I could take any more of this. All right, Phil. So, again, you're making more generalizations. You're making more assumptions. You have no proof whatsoever of what you're saying at all. You have no proof. The only proof out there, the only testing that was done by Digital Foundry, which is a non-bias. They have no stake in the game. They didn't bring in their biases to this. They just tested it and basically said there is no inherent benefit in whatever platform you play on unless you play on PS4. If you play on PS4, you're going to have a distinct disadvantage. Other than that, Xbox, PlayStation 5, and PC are pretty much the same, Phil. So you're talking out of your ass yet again like you always fucking do. The other thing is, it doesn't matter whether you don't want to take responsibility or you fucking lost, Phil. You lost. And there's a guy out there, I forgot who it was. It was really good. I was watching one of their videos when they actually went in there and looked at Phil's game footage and looked at his recording when he was playing the game and when he would claim his input didn't come out or it dropped or whatever. And it clearly showed that he didn't press a button or he pressed the wrong button, Phil. I forgot the guy's name, but it was really good. I was watching the video. I know someone's going to be doing probably a collage of that pretty soon. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out. But yet again, Phil, you don't know what you're talking about. You're making assumptions. What you're doing is you're using anecdotal information. You're not doing any empirical testing, what you need to do. And again, you're just talking out of your ass. It's just one more buzzword that you like to use to make you seem smart and make it seem like you have a justifiable excuse for why you are shit tier at this game. You're not completely shit tier, but you're an average player. And the stats I just showed, where you essentially won 26 matches and lost 21 matches against cross-player players, just shows that you are an average player. If your statements are true, that PC has an inherent advantage over console players, you would have lost more than you won, and that wasn't the case, Phil. So shove that up your ass, Phil. You have no clue what you're talking about. I can't wait for you to come on Friday and spend an hour regurgitating the same bullshit you just did here on your podcast. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.